How's up, y'all? It's poppin'. It's D. About to react to this vid by Retroactive. It's titled The Andrew Schulz Downfall. I wonder what has he done? Did something occur? We're gonna see. Let's watch.
I've seen it happen to my friends. Maybe there's some comics that are getting like too famous off YouTube or something too quick, and it starts to happen.
God, he's got a case of the yes. Everyone around's like, yeah.
This podcast for me has gone from me not being able to miss an episode to not being able to watch one for more than 10 minutes. Their egos have gotten completely out of control, and it's basically turned them into four douchebags who just love to sit there smelling each other's farts and act completely fake. They really don't seem interested in the guests anymore and seem more interested in what each other thinks instead.
As usual, when something is one of the biggest podcasts in the world, it changes from what it once was, and fans begin to comment in droves with every complaint under the sun. But as we saw in the opening clip, nobody fits more accurately to what Whitney and Bill said about YouTube comedians than Schulz, with a lot more subscribers than most of his peers and quite the attitude shift from 4 years ago before he blew up. Much of their audience was gained with Schulz's crowd work ability going viral, and his choice to channel his stand-up into fast-paced videos during the pandemic helped him blow up to a massive level. The podcast's electric intro monologues, great editing, it helps set it apart, but since their increase in fame, the new studio, it just hasn't felt the same. Filled with knee slapping, brimming with fake laughs, even interrupting guests so often their audience defended DJ academics of all people in their own comment section. Tons of comments from fans complaining where older episodes are almost entirely positive. The worst part, however,
apparently one of them is about to be passed out.
Try one of these.
No,
try it.
No,
Will you just try it?
I got addictive personality for real.
This is not going to make you addicted.
No. Like, I have a really addictive
You're not going to be addicted. It's such a stupid thing to think.
And when you see me,
you're probably an alcoholic anyway, so what are you concerned about?
Joke or not, pressuring a man who is currently drinking to assumably fall back into nicotine addiction. I love dark humor, but I'm failing to see the joke there.
I'm one day off and I want to smoke a bowl out of my own nuts.
Between podcasters, academics, most young people now, or just most people I or you know, nicotine addiction is everywhere in many forms. I mean, just look at Brendan Schaub's cheeks. Anybody who has ever danced with the demon knows it's incredibly difficult to quit. Arguably, it's one of the most addictive substances on the planet, with tons of criticism towards Schulz for the clip. While it might sound like a nanny state comment, 2024 YouTube is strict as hell compared to back in the golden age. Schulz didn't declare Zyn pouches to be a sponsor in the video description or anywhere online, and tried to relentlessly push it on his guest and claim it's not addictive. Comedy gag or not, that would break medical misinformation and undeclared sponsorship guidelines. Hopefully I'm wrong, as I don't want any channel deleted, but they might be flying close to the sun on that one. But big channels allegedly have more leeway than others, as was seen with Sniper Wolf doxing Jack's Film's address and receiving little punishment compared to other channels in the past, so maybe he'll be fine. Schulz and touching his guest over and over, however, god damn. If Akash's knee isn't close enough, the guest is done for. Leave it up to the truth-teller comedians to suck up to an influencer scumbag for the entire podcast.
Sorry, it's those pecs, bro.
You got it. Oh, shit.
Get off this nigga dick.
Amber alert, for sure.
I gotta get out of here, boys. Do your sign off.
Okay.
No, don't take that.
This really didn't help Schulz's image, as people saw it as using Logan for clout and ignoring the tough questions. The opposite of what these comics aspire or claim to be.
Andrew Schulz and Akash Singh are some of the biggest snakes on YouTube. Them and their whole team are flagrant. Myron, you are a sensitive, talentless, bottom-feeding grifter. Your life's work is renting women and regurgitating other people's talking points. Your arms are not developed enough for the shirts you wear, and your co-host is pimping you. Merry Xmas.
Myron does have a point that pretty much every podcast comedian would have had a much longer road to success without being a friend of Joe Rogan's. Myron is still trying to fight Schulz, Penguin Zero, and ABBA over words and hurt feelings. Very alpha, of course. Akash dissed Fresh and Fit to their face for being less evolved than the average man, and they did nothing.
See them evolutionary charts from Neanderthal to Homo sapien?
Yeah.
Y'all are the first motherfucker out of Neanderthal. But grow with your audience. Mature with your audience as you work on yourself.
And Akash is someone who cries when one member of the audience doesn't laugh at his jokes, so...
Did that guy suck for all of you guys sitting here picking his calluses on his hand for 10 minutes? Just go. And then I just lost it. I was like, with all my jokes, this guy.
Those two even ending up on Flagrant at all is
You ain't
exactly
funny, I
why
ain't
all
about
the
to
fans
laugh,
don't
the fuck?
enjoy the show as much. It's more of a product of a great marketing team than raw comedy talk like previously. There's a major focus on landing the most viral guest, and whoever they hired in the last 2 years or so for marketing has definitely helped push it to major audiences, with a complete overhaul of thumbnail approach, titles, tons of sponsors, production quality, endless giggling goons on the couch. It's all the way optimized, which is a fair way to go about it, make it a business, but when it comes to comedy, genuine and funny wins, so many would rather now just put on the Monday morning
Rogan needs some
podcast
bigger
or
shirts.
Matt and Shane's secret podcasts, which are insanely successful without the Mr. Beast-esque
I'll give
approach
you
to
muscular,
marketing the
but you need
video.
some bigger shit.
You guys have overcomplicated the podcast. Well, everybody wanted to be on the Tonight Show, so you made your own Tonight Show. Look at this. For you got stage lighting and shit. It's hilarious.
But you kind of did this. That's the thing.
But I didn't do this.
Schulz himself also changed his approach and how brazen he'd be with guests, knowing that awkward moments go viral, but he doesn't have the charisma of a Patrice O'Neill or even Tim Dillon to be likable while disrespectful. So even in his Whitney episode, who isn't the most popular figure in comedy, people turned on Schulz for being a whereas Tim Dillon was praised for finding ways to roast slyly or just bluntly telling the truth about the difference between Hollywood comedians that require the industry approval to survive and Patreon comedians who make $200K a month. But just like how the early episodes of Joe Rogan Experience were a lot more raw, loose, and fun when nobody was listening, it's hard to avoid changing as your show goes from no listeners to millions upon millions. Flagrant just needs to tone it back.
You gotta try Sugon with a girl.
What's Suga?
That's where you sug on this dick. I hate you. You're so gay.
Yo, how did you fall for that, Shane?
No other podcast laughs so goddamn hard at nothing burger jokes, and it simply wasn't this bad before the channel was clearly optimized top-down for the biggest audience possible. Tim Dillon or Bill Burr let it flow naturally and let the dead air happen, but with Flagrant, I mean, there's 86 of you on the couch waiting to all get your points out. There's no room for comedic pauses that allow the hosts to talk like human beings, and it's just awkward for the guest, as many comments have pointed out, as many now struggle to even get a word in. Or maybe it's just the post-Weimar youth cut that's causing all this trouble for Andrew. And a normal fade would resolve these behaviors and restore order in the known universe. As Cat Williams just said to 25 million viewers in a day,
on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on there. I need to be on Shannon. Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny. He want to push out.
there's a big difference in talent between the GOATs and most podcast comedians, and just like Schaub and Callan's declining numbers online and at shows, a relationship with Joe Rogan only takes you so far. Schulz has the benefit of better marketing and guests than The Fighter or The Kid or many other podcasts, but his diva behavior change compared to before his podcast blew up will only become more and more noticeable to more fans as time goes on.
I have everything I need, and I'm not happy as angst.
Feel.
Whoa.
Schulz epiphanies are my favorite.
Yo.
He repeats his statement and he's like,
That's crazy, though.
And by lots of YouTube channels who are starting to become acknowledged by the podcasters.
Not only am I happy for Too Lazy to Try to have his video, so I'm not going to challenge anything. I'm sitting here promoting it. And I like it was gonna hurt my feelings. I know probably too much to actually watch it.
Podcast Cringe is hitting big numbers doing exactly that, criticizing him for slyly misdirecting his audience, thinking they were getting an exclusive, uncensored special that was only available for 2 weeks, but really it would be on YouTube for free only a month after. Louis C.K. did this strategy first, and without annoying fans for specials or great shows like Horace and Pete, fans were happy the money wasn't getting cut with network executive bastards, and it wasn't put out for free right after, and wouldn't be on YouTube for at least a few years, until the companies relax and collect the ad revenue from whoever posts full specials or episodes. Schulz half-played the Louis strategy and even had a goddamn gambling sponsor in the middle of his special, which I completely forgot about. Entirely shameless, and has to be the first time in a special that a comic's been that dough-driven. Definitely going to be harder to play that trick on your audience next time, but hey, we'll leave it to Bill Burr to sum up the situation perfectly.
I find people that aren't that good are the ones who actually take the trip. Bill Murray said one time, he used to give people 3 years. And he was like, after 3 years, if you're still an asshole, then you're an asshole. Everybody's blowing smoke, he's floating up. We're gonna see if he comes back down again. 3 years later, he's still up there, half that guy.
That dog was so cute. What kind of dog is that? This is unfortunate because I do know that he was very, very popular in the podcast space for some time. So the fact that his podcast is kind of like falling off in the eyes of the viewers and they're not entertained as much by it, it's unfortunate. And I definitely have gotten more into podcasts as of late. My favorites right now are Theo. I'm talking about Theo Vaughn quite a bit because I literally watch him like every day when I'm walking on the treadmill. And Bobby Lee, I just recently started watching his podcast, Bad Friends, and We Said What We Said on Spotify. I think they're like on a break or something right now, but I watched them. If you guys have any favorite podcasts, definitely let me know. When he was showing the catalog of his podcast, I saw a couple that I want to check out. Like he has an episode with Drewski, I want to watch it, and he has one with Bobby Lee, want to watch it. But I'm hoping that it's not dry as they're describing because they're making it seem like he like fell off completely. He's not funny at all, but I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!